What's up and welcome back to Interpreting the Stars, where today we're talking about a brand new movie just released to Hulu over the weekend. It's Palm Springs. Actually, 3 new movies just came out over the weekend. You got this, you got The Old Guard, and you got Relic. And I plan to review those movies over the next couple of days. So don't miss out. Make sure that you subscribe and hit the bell to be notified when I release those reviews. Right now, let's talk about Palm Springs, a movie I was honestly looking forward to the moment that I saw the trailer. So let's chillax and confabulate about this rom-com. And let's get cracking. This review is brought to you by the word of the day, confabulate. To talk informally, aka chat. It's Groundhog Day in Palm Springs when a young man named Niles and a woman named Tala find each other trapped inside an infinite time loop during a wedding. How they got there and what it'll take to escape seems to be on Tala's mind, but Niles just seems to not care about the situation. Whatever shall they do now? Alright, so I think there's a huge problem with this film, at least for me. About a year or 2 ago, I went through a marathon of seeking out every time loop film that I could get my hands on. You'd be surprised at just how many of them exist. And a lot of them are really great. They're very clever, they're really original in what they do. Some of them not so much. And I'd have to say that Palm Springs lays in the category of not being that clever. Look, if all you've ever really seen is Groundhog Day, maybe Edge of Tomorrow or something, then yeah, this will be really satisfying and refreshing for you. And you'll probably love it. But I'm spoiled because I've seen dozens and dozens of these things, and my preferences for time loop films stacks a lot of other films over this one in terms of originality and movies as a whole that stand out. So I can't say that a lot of this film feels like its own thing, nor can I say much of it is unpredictable. It pretty much follows a typical structure, though it certainly has its moments. This film thrives pretty heavily on chemistry to operate successfully, and our 2 leads here do work well together, and you can tell that for the most part they're just having fun. I'm telling you right now that if these 2 leads didn't work out, the movie would most likely be garbage because it's not really about anything. One of the biggest themes in this film is that everything is meaningless in the confines of a time loop. They can do whatever they want without repercussions. So that's why they really are practicing carpe diem and having fun in the time loop. But that meaningless theme kind of bleeds into the point of the movie too, because for a majority of the film, nobody's really trying to do anything, which is often a problem with these types of movies because there's almost nothing you can do, but usually the main character wants to escape, so the drive is usually always there. And while Tala mostly has this drive, Niles really doesn't. And for some reason, Niles is focused on the most in this movie, so he's the main character. And he shouldn't be. The movie's introduction focuses on Niles' character, and it really should have been focusing on Tala, because when she first realizes that she's in a time loop and experiencing everything all over again, the audience is only seeing her life for the first time. So her freaking out doesn't have as much of a big impact as it would have been if you also saw everything the first time along with her. She should have been the main character who the audience connects with the most, because she's also the only character that has a desire to leave. She has a drive. Yet most of the focus is on Niles because he's Andy Samberg, I guess. It's the difference, like if in Jumanji, the majority of focus was on Robin Williams instead of the kids. But Jumanji had it right. The kids were the main characters because they were the ones that felt the most importance in what was happening in the world around them. Just like Tala in this film. But the secondary character is given primary focus because, as I fear, celebrity status is a thing. Let's break everything down to a final score. From an unbiased technical vantage point, this film mostly does everything fine. I mean, nothing about the cinematography or visuals is gonna stand out. Editing is important though because it is a time loop film, but I feel like a lot of how this film operates from a technical vantage point was a safe decision after a safe decision. Thinking back to this film, you'll remember the concept, but you won't really remember how it looks, or honestly, any of the specific elements of the film, because a majority of these events that happen in the movie didn't matter in the long run. That unbiased score is 66%, and because I usually expect more out of a time loop film, my bias score is slightly lower at 64%, averaging everything out to a final score of 65%. 65 out of 100 possible stars, granting Palm Spring with a letter grade of D, which is a little bit of a disappointment to me. I think the film is fair. I think it did what it needed to do, which deserves credit all on its own, but it could have been a little bit more clever. It could have stood out a little bit more as a time loop film. But I'd like to hear your thoughts on the film in the comments down below. I'd really like to hear about how many time loop films you've seen and how this compares to those. I really do think it comes down to how many movies you've seen in the time loop subgenre. Again, if all you've ever seen is Groundhog Day or Groundhog Day and Edge of Tomorrow or Happy Death Day or something like that, this will probably stand out as good. It will stand out as unique and original, but I'm telling you right now, it really isn't. Again, remember to hit the subscribe button and bell to be notified when I come out with my next review, which should be The Old Guard over on Netflix. And until then, peace out.